welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast. Today we're joined by Tommy Curran, Patriots reporter for NBC Sports Boston, and welcome to the show. Thanks for having on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Cross. What's up, Bobby?
How's it going?
No problem. So we're gonna get today. We're gonna get into some Brady stuff, and then Patriots QB room for next year. Talk about a little of that. So we'll start with Brady. Just won his seventh Super Bowl, got a seventh ring. He's killing. I mean, he's an old dude, and he's still killing it out on the field. So, I mean, what do you think we'll see out of him like the next couple of years?
I mean, it's astounding, and I think that what's interesting is how the perception over the course of time has been, well, he's old, his skills are declining, and as people were saying that, I'm like, can you tell me where? Tell me what he's not doing as well. And we saw it in 2014. People would say, well, he's not as accurate. And I'd say, well, look who he was throwing to in 2013. In 2019, we had the same conversations. He's slipping. And had it not been for his birthday, I think people would have fixated more on the reasons instead of going the easy way out and saying that he's getting older. So as we saw on Sunday night, the velocity is still very much there. The accuracy is there. The competitiveness is there. He's certainly more than fast enough to move around the pocket and shifty enough. So I think he goes as long as he wants to go.
Yeah, I think he's actually getting faster as he gets older. It's kind of odd.
His quickness is really good. And I've known him for a long time, and I know Alex Guerrero well, and I know the work that they go through to make sure that the quickness is what they concentrate on. So he's going to go as long as he wants to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see him slowing down. Like you said, his competitiveness is like you can't doubt it. Like it's probably higher than anyone else in the league right now. He's not going to stop, and he's not going to stop until he knows like, yeah, I can't win anymore. Like,
what will probably precipitate his leaving would be family stuff. Okay, I have a 15-year-old now, and he's a sophomore, and he's a quarterback, and I want to watch his games. Or my daughter's, involved in soccer, and, it's too much on my family right now. My kids are at an age where, I mean, you guys, it's interesting. You guys are young enough still. You kind of need a family and strong and solid parental presence, certainly in your first 7 years, but you kind of really need it from the age of 12 to 18 too.
mm-hmm.
And these kids are approaching that age, wild enough to think about. So I would think that those will be factors that would be weigh on him as much as, oh shit, my arm hurts.
Yeah. He has a big family, man, and I've been watching some of his I watched some of his interviews leading up to the Super Bowl, and a lot of the reporters were asking a lot of like deep questions about like how his family deals with it, and he's like to that, like right now to them that's just like our regular lives, like they don't know anything different. Like, and I thought that was interesting that he was just like, he's like, I mean, all they know is like me doing this, playing football. So, and I think it'll actually be like weirder for the family when he's actually around and home all the, like for more time, like when he's retired and then when he's still playing football. And I just thought that was interesting. The reporters like we're going after that point and he was like, it's all they know. But and
that's the weird thing too, is I mean it's the central part of their lives. Mm-hmm. It's I've become close, over the years, knowing him as long as I have with Mr. Brady, with his mother and his sisters. It's something that, like with your family, both of yours, Bobby and Cross, like what do you rally around? Is it holidays? With this kid, it's like season openers, training camp, Super Bowls. I mean, they have all these events that the family gets together at. So it's really interesting. It's a different life.
Yeah, I was reading something on Instagram, and it was like Brady's kids. It's like going to grandma's house every time they go on the Super Bowl stage. It's like a yearly event. Yeah, I thought that was funny because like it's like they're so used to being like in just the Super Bowl, like
right.
not just at football games, like in like the football game. Like
exactly,
it's incredible. Like that's an incredible life for them, and I don't think they want it to stop anytime soon. I mean, I'm sure they enjoy going to all that stuff. But yeah, so now we I kind of want to talk about like Brady's like legacy when he is retired. So like, do you think Mahomes could catch him like greatest of all time? Because I
No.
think we've no doubt Brady's greatest of all time now.
Well, I mean, there's two different conversations. Is greatest of all time is one thing, and I think that Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I think that's demonstrated by longevity and performance and big game performance. I mean, is he the greatest thrower of all time? Is he the most talented, the most athletic? Those are all these things that enter into it. To me, I define it as this, guys. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, and he's the greatest teammate of all time. He's not the greatest athlete of all time. I've seen that get
Oh
thrown
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. And the bizarre shit that gets thrown back. What about Michael Phelps? What about Serena Williams? I mean, we're talking in those instances about very niche sports that 5% of the populace takes part in at a high level or even a competitive level. So it's hard for me. They are the most dominant, Serena and Michael Phelps and Carl Lewis and Tiger Woods for a period, Jack Nicklaus, but this is totally different. To me, this is the greatest performer in team sports history. Not the most dominant, because I think LeBron physically is a more dominant player at his game,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
this is the most accomplished performer in professional sports history. So that's
I
his
would agree.
legacy,
Yeah,
as far as I
yeah,
can tell.
yeah. He's definitely like he just killed it every year. Every like I don't remember like single year I was or maybe 2019, but like remember a year like oh Brady sucked. Like he's the reason we're not winning games like that. I don't remember a single like time or maybe even a game that like I was like Brady's literally the reason we didn't win that.
Oh,
He's just
absolutely. And it's a team
yeah.
sport too, you gotta think too. So he's when you have the GOAT conversation, like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you do talk about like the Phelps, the Woods, the Serenas, and then you talk about the team sport GOAT. And like Tom, like you said, he's one of the best teammates of all time when you look back. And he, like you saw it going around the media this week, 11 p.m. every night, we will win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And like as a football player in college right now, and as I've had all my life, if I have someone on my team texting me that, and it gets me like emotional and like it's like it makes me want to run through a
Makes you
wall,
want
you
to yeah
know?
makes you want to run through a
Exactly.
wall.
So when you take the stuff like little things like that, the little things add up over what 21 seasons now going into
Mm-hmm.
22, 23. He just brings the same intensity every week, every day. He's probably in the weight room right now working on
It's funny in
everything he needs to do
2000,
TB12, you know?
in 2015, um, when the Patriots lost to Denver and the Super Bowl was in San Francisco, um, I went out there anyway to cover the game. And while I was there, I went to San Mateo to his family's home um, to sit down and talk to his dad. And his dad told me during our conversation that we used on Quick Slants that week that his son has in his weight room, one of those clocks that you can set, and his weight room counts down to kickoff of the Super Bowl the next year.
Oh
So you're
wow.
probably not wrong.
That
So
that's he just like that's his only motivation. He's like, I don't really care about like
that's
we're
wild.
getting to the big game. Like he was the fifth seed. He's like, and that doesn't bother me. He's like, all right, we'll just beat them all in the playoffs. Like,
I mean, they have to win 4 on the road against Breeze, Mahomes, Rodgers, and well, Meineke.
and then yeah, Heineke. I was talking about actually, my dad was talking to me about that. He's like, honestly, this maybe go down as his best Super Bowl because like, or even like one of the best Super Bowls of all time for like because of all the people he had to go through to get there. Like that like other than like the Heineke guy, even who though he played well in that game, like just the names he had to play
I
to
know.
get there and then win the game, like those are that's just a legendary lineup, like right there, like
Unbelievable.
between those four, like those four guys, it's like wow, like the fact that he got there, never mind won the game, is just incredible because everyone doubted him. I was like, I don't know why people are doubting him. That's just gonna fuel the flame even more. And now he's gonna just go out there and kill it, and he did his job. Like people can make excuses about the refs and like the offensive line, but like the Buccaneers played a better game, and like you can't take that away from them. They won like that. They won fair. Like I feel like they won fair and
100%.
square. So Yeah. So so if we want to get into, I think we can get into maybe Patriots QB situation for next year. I read a couple of your articles about like the QB situation. This one that I have pulled up right now is like you broke down pretty much every like potential Patriots QB for next year.
Mhm.
And like their fit. So I found it interesting. So I know two of the guys that you seem pretty high on in this article were two former Patriots QBs, Garoppolo and Brissett. If you want, do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like
Sure. Yeah,
why you feel
I
those
guess
will fit best?
philosophically, Cross, when you look at it, okay, how do you do it? How do you staff this position? When we look at the group of quarterbacks who were just in the playoffs, both conferences, they were either future Hall of Famers or first round picks, high first round picks. So what does that tell you? Okay, if you want to be in the playoffs, you're going to have to either find a Tom Brady or a Drew Brees type player, and I think those are the only two who are not first round picks, or spend a high first round pick. Well, is Mac Jones at 15 looking like someone to you that is somebody you want to build around? Or do you look at your team as Bill Belichick and say, shit, we have about 9 different places we could fill. Why don't I take a risk on a bridge quarterback? Garoppolo, Brissett, Mitch Trubisky, and I know people are going, oh, but you probably should look at a distressed product that you can work with and hope you get lucky in the second time around with them, and then also draft. And whether or not it's 15th overall, see, that's the pain of it, is the Patriots are so well coached that they're probably not going to end up in the top 6 picks where some of those great quarterbacks reside. So they have to figure it out. So to predict what they'll do is really, really hard, as you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have to be more than anything else, in my estimation, is adaptable. So you read the shit that we're talking about right now, something's going to change between now and March. Something will change again around the draft. And then it'll probably change again in June. Are you going to try and pinch yourself in right now and say, oh, let's go get Sam Darnold, just so you can look at your fans and say we did something? Or are you going to leave the doors open as long as you can? And that, I think, has been one of Bill Belichick's strengths. Last year, they bet wrong. They managed it incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, after Garoppolo was dealt, continued to try and bring people in and staff the position. Would that have pissed Brady off? I don't know.
But he left anyway.
He left it. You can't leave it the way he left it. You're right, Cross.
Yeah, but so like I've been pretty like I've gotten a lot of backlash from my friends about this, but I don't think Carson Wentz is like a bad I don't think that's a bad prospect. Like I like Garoppolo is probably my top prospect right now, but I don't think Wentz would be a bad one, because if you think about it, that season he helped get them to that Super Bowl. He didn't get to the playoffs, but he still was he had a great season, and then got hurt, and then he's had like 1 or 2 seasons where he's not been great, but he still has. I still think he has that talent, and I think he just needs to get fully healthy, and I think with a good coaching staff, he could. I think he could maybe get back to that Super Bowl year, and I think the Patriots might be a good spot for him.
Yeah, Bobby, you were nodding. Do you agree with that?
The way I look at it is, I was looking at reports about that, just thinking of who we'd bring in next year, and they're saying the Eagles want like a Matt Stafford type deal back. So you're talking 2 first-round picks, a second, and maybe Stidham, who you already drafted again, who hasn't worked out yet, but you never know. But when I heard that, that's when I was like, I don't know, because then you're talking that first-round pick who you might use on a Mac Jones, or maybe Jalen Waddle falls to you, or you use an edge rusher, whatever you need. That's out the window now. Now you're all in on Carson Wentz.
And that's
what backs me up.
Yeah, and that to both you, in a vacuum, Cross, I agree with you. And Bobby, but once you start to get in the weeds on all these, we're doing on our show, we were about to do something tonight on, all right, what's the value of each of these quarterbacks? And we were going to talk about the pop 7 or 8 guys and say, well, this guy would be worth 2 ones, this guy would be worth a one. I said, there's so much stuff that factors into what these guys are worth. Like, who's worth more, Deshaun Watson or Tom Brady? Well, Deshaun Watson has not even close to the resume of Tom Brady. If you gave me the ball at the 20 with 45 seconds left and I needed a field goal, I'd take Tom Brady 10 times out of 10. But I'd give up more for Deshaun Watson because of age and contract status. So all those things enter into it. So to me, with Carson Wentz, his contract is so fat, so stupid, so Jared Goffian that I would run like hell from it. So that's why, like, where Wentz makes sense to me, Wentz makes no sense to me. Trubisky is the same player for virtually free compared. Second
That's true,
overall
yeah.
pick. You don't have to give up anything to get him. You don't have a $40 million contract. The Eagles already butchered this guy the same way the Rams did with Goff. They gave him a huge price tag, and now it's like he's an upside-down mortgage.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I see Wentz as like I think he could be a valuable player in this league. I think he'll end up making a comeback at some point.
No, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's so many factors with these guys that you have to weigh in before you bring them on.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a tough situation if they do have to give up that much. But I think if you get him for cheap, I think you get like Trubisky could be like an option. I mean, I don't know if they want a project QB, but like they could just be looking for like a safe bet. And I think Garoppolo is a safe bet because he knows the system. Too. He's comfortable with the coaches. He knows the system. Like, he's been in New England. He knows like the winning culture that's here. He won 2 Super Bowls with us technically. I mean, didn't play, but like he was on those teams.
Yep.
So I think he definitely is a safe option. And I think Brissett is less of a safe option, but I think he knows the system too. And I think he could develop into something if we really tried with him. But
yeah, definitely. I think selling this as a destination to a 30-year-old quarterback is difficult too. If I'm a free agent, I mean, if you're traded, that's one thing. But ideally, you're convincing a free agent to come because then you don't have to give up any compensation in a trade. But if I'm trying to convince Jimmy Garoppolo at 30, I'm going to have to pay him less than $20 million, get him to buy on that because he's a distressed asset. And then I'm also going to have to say, yeah, all that stuff you see at tight end and wide receiver, we're going to fix all that, believe me. And he's going to have to believe it. So that's what's hard. And you know what else is hard, though, is having to say that it's 6:21, and I got to get ready for the show. And I don't think we finished everything we wanted to talk about, did we?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We don't. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up, but yeah, I think that was a good conversation. So, but thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. I think we got some good points. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I appreciate you very much. Go Silver Lake.
Yeah, have a good one.
We'll tune in to NBC Sports Boston right now.
Yeah, right now.
Let's go.
See you guys.
See you later.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care.
I agree with him on the Carson Wentz thing. If we have to give up that much, and like you said, like if we have to give up that much, it's probably not worth it when you could get like somebody who's like fairly similar in Mitch Trubisky. But honestly, if you're looking for a bridge QB and like a safe player, Garoppolo is probably the way to go.
Yeah, it's just the way I think about it is you're trying to – well, for him, it's a trade. So that's where that comes in. But like –
and it says he has to – but he also has to agree – it says he has a clause in his deal that he has to agree to the trade destination.
Okay, so that's big too. So he's in the same boat as those free agents. So you have to – like Tom was saying, you have to convince him, hey, we have nothing right now that even Brady couldn't deal with, but if you come here, we'll fix it. That's as a football fan and as a football player, I don't see me putting him into his shoes. I don't see him looking at New England and say, yeah, I'll go back there. Versus Debo
but
Samuel,
he also
Ayuk.
But he also may be like, the Niners may not the Niners may not want him there like as a starter, and he might be like, well, Patriots have all this cap money, like they have a ton of cap money that they can use on like a Galladay or even Godwin. They could get Godwin, trying to think who else is out there. Allen Robinson,
Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones. Like, there's like a bunch of guys out there, and there's even some like lesser ones like Curtis Samuel you can get for like on the cheaper side. Like, those are like solid guys, and you still have a couple guys coming back that are solid, like Myers is a solid receiver that will probably be returning. We'll probably re-sign James White. Maybe not Burkhead. We'll probably get White back, who's a good receiving back. Then you'll have Damian Harris, who's a solid back. I'm assuming they're going to pick up Michelle's fifth year option, and that's still like you'll have a good running back room, and if the Patriots play their cards right, they'll have solid receivers. And I'm not like all out on the tight ends they drafted last year either. They struggled with some injuries, and I think they'll be healthy next year. And I think we'll actually see them next year. And I think this year was more just like a complete shit show from the start with Cam. Like Cam is like a throwing quarterback. He didn't do very well with that, obviously based on his stats. And I think we'll see more from our tight ends next year. And if they can build their receivers, I think we'll be fine because our offensive line is still pretty good. The guy they drafted last year is good. Wynn is good when he's healthy. David Andrews is solid. And then honestly, I know I'm getting a little off track, but our defense isn't all that bad. They were pretty good this year, and our special teams is great, but our defense was pretty good this year, and we had all those guys opt out. Like
exactly, they're all coming back.
Hightower and Chung are huge. Those are huge. Like, and I read the thing about Devin McCourty said that from what he's heard from those guys, they're coming back next year. He doesn't know a single player that's retiring, and then that also includes Marcus Cannon on the offensive line. So
there's just a lot to take into account. Like this, you can take this season and throw it out the window. That's over. That's the 2020, 2021 season. It's gone. This is gonna be a new Patriots team.
Well, it's a complete like Brady leaving was a complete like shit show because it was just like everyone was like, oh no, like what the hell, like what do we do?
Yeah.
And I think it was more just like they needed to figure out what they needed to do first. And
everybody is including the Patriots front office because they've never had to deal with this before. They've never had a quarterback problem. They've had the same guy for 20 years. Won 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah, all the guys in that office have not they weren't there 20 years ago before Brady was there. I think like Kraft and Belichick are the only guys like left. Like they're the only ones who had to deal with it. Like, and even Belichick barely had to deal with it.
Exactly.
Like in New England, I think like 1 or 2 years that he had to deal with it. But I don't know. I feel like I also think this is a separate note. I think Belichick needs to give up his GM responsibilities. But
100%.
Like still, I mean. I think if we find a QB, we'll be okay. And I honestly, I don't think it'll be this year. We'll find like a QB that will be like a QB for some like amount of time. I think they're mostly going to be 1 or 2 year guys, and I think Garoppolo could be like a 2 to 3 year guy for us while we try and find someone in the draft. Find a steal. I mean, you could find a steal. Honestly, like Mac Jones isn't a terrible option. I mean, he was thrown to like two of the best receivers in college football, but like I was watching him in that national championship game. He looked very good. Like it wasn't like the receivers were doing all the work. He was throwing dots. I mean, he was being smart with the ball. He was moving around the pocket pretty well. I mean, could be an option. I mean, I wouldn't. Like if we can get someone in the trade or free agency, I think that would be ideal because then we could address other positional problems in the draft. But
I see us doing a couple of things. I see us drafting like a Mac Jones and then signing like a Fitzpatrick, like as a little mentor kind of deal, or trading number 1 or our first round pick for like a Garoppolo, a Brissett. Or just signing a guy and using the.
I think Brissett's a free agent.
Is he?
Yeah, because he is. So you could probably get him for cheap money too. You could probably get him for like the contract we signed Newton for this year. And actually, that's a point I want to make. Everyone's like crapping on like the Newton signing now and like that was terrible. Why would they do that? But when I wasn't convinced of Newton when they signed him. I was actually like very skeptical, and everyone was like, "They signed Cam Newton. This is huge. Like, we're gonna be good again. Like, we're gonna make the." And I was like I thought we were gonna make the playoffs. Like, I ended up coming around to it, but I was like, when they first signed him, my initial reaction was like, I don't know. I don't think that's great, and everyone was like freaking out, and I was like, and then that now they're freaking out like, oh, that was terrible. I'm like, you guys all like celebrating it when he signed, like saying we're like the Patriots were genius, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't know,
my reaction was a little biased considering he's like my favorite athlete, like ever, besides Tom
oh yeah,
Brady.
Nolan's that way. Nolan always points out he has the rookie Cam Newton jersey, and he's like the biggest Cam fan ever. And I was like, dude, relax.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's funny.
I mean that's all I got. I feel like we covered most of it. So if I think we're good. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you to Tommy Curran for coming on. Thank you for Bobby for joining me today for this. Yeah, so everyone make sure you like and subscribe. Follow our Instagram at OffBeat_sports. And we'll see you next time.